So when you and I met, you approached me with the idea of coming along to photograph some weddings. You were a very accomplished photographer in your own right. You've done a lot of nature photography, and I saw that and agreed that, you know, from a technical perspective, you knew what you were doing, but you didn't have any wedding experience. And so at that whole time, I'm also thinking about second shooters and that whole era. So you said, hey, you know, I'd like to learn wedding photography. Can I come shadow you at a wedding? And I thought, sure, you know what? You want to come spend 10 hours at a wedding for free?
Talk me into it.
Yeah, that's cool. Thinking, you know, if you got one or two shots that I could offer a bride in the meantime, then yeah, so much the better. But what happened was you were coming to these weddings, and I started seeing what you were able to offer. You were behind me seeing stuff that I wasn't seeing. You were able to get a different perspective. You were able to go other places I wasn't able to go. And when the end of the day came and you gave me your images, I'd go home and sort through them, and I'd see stuff that you took that I never knew happened that day. And I said, this is great, and he really did a good job capturing it. And all of my objections about having a second photographer there about, well, you know, he's going to be a different style, and he's going to be, you know, conflicting with the photography by Keel image, that all just went away because you have a really good way of complementing what I think photography by Keel means to a client. You know, we're there to capture their day, and your being there just brings a whole nother perspective to it.
Right. The interesting way of the approach, how it's evolved over the years, right, is
Absolutely.
we've got since there's two of us there, and since, you know, now these days, obviously, you can obviously cover a wedding all by yourself because you did it for years. I've obviously covered weddings by myself. Now being able to combine the two in you know, you're focusing on the traditional, you know, you got a bride sitting there, you're setting up the perfect pose, you get the perfect lighting, is, you know, and some would say maybe it's the traditional setting, and I'm off on the side with the bridesmaids getting a picture of their bouquets with the bride and groom in the background, and we're able to do that at the same time and at the same pace, and people don't even know what's going on. So then the bride and groom are like, when'd you do that? And same thing with, you know, if there's a flower girl or there's a little ring bearer getting his flower fixed or having a meltdown that, you know, sometimes kids do, or there's parents that wanted a picture, or, you know, we're just getting a picture of some of the environment. It's a lot easier to do that. And when they're both of us there, we don't miss anything then, because then we're covering it. We might be covering it from slightly different angles or slightly different approaches. Sometimes we're in the same scene, taking the same picture, and you'd be like, why are these guys standing next to each other taking the same shot? And you'll find out that I'm taking it from real low, or, you know, kind of an angle to it.
Different lens with a different perspective.
Right. Or I'm taking it with
light.
a fisheye, or I'm doing natural light, and I'm not, you know, necessarily doing it the same way. And what the bride's now got a choice, and completely two different perspectives of the same event, or the same, you know, the same piece of the day that happened, but from two completely different
So
perspectives.
it's vastly different than a studio that offers an assistant. I mean, you are another trained